You just shared with me. Some of the investors made $150,000. Somebody made $180,000. That's mind-blowing. That's like a whole year's of salary, or maybe even 3 times of salary of some people watching us.
But based on that knowledge, if people learn it, I think it could do wonders for individuals. At the very least, they'll make informed and educated decisions, because most of the time people are just gambling with their money.
Yes.
So today what I've done, I'm going to share my screen with you. Today what I've done is I have created a presentation for you. And the presentation is on what's happening in the market. I call it basically market analysis. So my question is, can you see my screen?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
Wonderful screen.
So perfect. So let's get going. So essentially, this is just a legal disclaimer. So before I continue, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving any kind of financial recommendation or any kind of advice in this. So please consult your own financial attorneys, accountants, etc. for that information, or make sure what you're investing is wise, because investments can be risky. Everything we're doing here is for educational purposes only. So the very first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what's actually happening in the market. So here's a chart that shows that what has the performance been of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial, Nasdaq, and the Russell 2000. So the line chart that you notice here, this is the S&P 500. So S&P 500 since the beginning of this year, as of yesterday, has dipped by minus 4.28%. So S&P 500 has gone down. And what is S&P 500? It's a collection of 500 top highest market cap companies that are tracked in this index. The second is Dow Jones Industrial. Dow Jones Industrial has also shown a negative return since the beginning of this year, which is minus 1.16%. Nasdaq, which is predominantly technology-related company, is down by 6.32%. And finally, Russell 2000, which is small to mid-cap companies, are minus 7.73%. So everything's down. And the question is, why? So let's analyze some of that and what I think is happening in the markets. So one of the biggest reasons that the market has dipped recently is that the trade war is heating up again. So as on March 4th, 2025, President Donald Trump raised tariffs, which is what? He imposed 25% tariffs on imports of Canada and Mexico, and he also doubled the tariffs on Chinese goods from 10% to 20%. So question is, what happens next? What happened next immediately was that China hit back on March 10th. They slapped on US 10 to 15% tariffs on all the US imports that are going there. Canada also followed suit, and they said we're going to charge 25% tariffs on $155 billion worth of US goods. And Mexico, well, they're also joining. There are plans for counter tariffs, and they're expected to start in early April. Now, let's talk about how this is affecting the US economy. So first, there was a rush to import goods before the tariffs hit. Okay, so just before the tariffs were hit, which was 4th of March, the US importers who were supposed to bring in imports and bring in products from other countries like Canada, Mexico, or China, they increased their imports. What that did was there was a sudden spike in demand, and that caused a short-term jump in inflation because business were trying to beat the clock. And then came a stock market drop. So S&P 500 immediately took a drop, and the reason is that investors got nervous. They got nervous because of rising costs. They got nervous because of a potential shrinkage in corporate profits, and worries about a growth slowdown. And all these things start to play a role. And this doesn't just stop there.
Be sure to listen to Mr. Smiles next week with more golden nuggets and top-notch coaching tips. You can reach him by going to VinneyChopra.com. Be sure to like, comment, and share to show everyone how Mr. Smiles has brought your apartment syndication business to the next level.